I'm Diana Miglioretti, Professor and Division Chief of Biostatistics in the Department of Public Health Sciences. I've been researching ways to improve breast cancer screening for over 25 years. The reason I went into this field is partially personal. Several of my family members have had breast cancer. And I'm not alone. Breast cancer is the most common cancer among women and the second leading cause of cancer death in the United States. With over 40 million screening mammograms performed annually in the United States, it's critically important to improve early detection of breast cancer while minimizing unnecessary imaging and procedures that can be costly, inconvenient, and anxiety-inducing. My research focuses on optimizing breast cancer screening to balance the early detection of breast cancer while reducing these unnecessary consequences. Since 2005, I've co-led the National Cancer Institute-funded U.S. Breast Cancer Surveillance Consortium, which is a network of breast imaging registries that collects data on breast imaging exams, linking them to patient information and cancer outcomes. The BCSC was established in response to the Mammography Quality Standards Act, a bipartisan congressional mandate from the 1990s to evaluate the effectiveness of mammography in the United States. Our research helps inform national policies and clinical guidelines to improve breast cancer screening and early detection of breast cancer. BCSC data have been used in over 800 peer-reviewed publications directly influencing clinical practice, healthcare guidelines, and public policy. For example, BCSC studies directly informed recent updates to the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force breast cancer screening guidelines to lower the starting age of screening mammography from 50 to 40. Our studies also influenced the American Cancer Society guidelines, which now recommend annual screening for premenopausal women and biannual screening for postmenopausal women. BCSC data were instrumental in informing new bipartisan, congressionally mandated legislation requiring that breast imaging facilities notify women if they have dense breast tissue. Dense breast tissue is common, and about 40 to 50% of screening-aged women have it, and it makes mammograms less effective because both dense tissue and cancers appear white on the mammogram. Some women with dense breasts may benefit from supplemental screening, but supplemental imaging has downsides and not everyone needs it. The BCSC is currently developing tools to determine which women would benefit most from additional imaging. For example, we created a risk calculator that estimates the likelihood of advanced cancer despite regular mammography. Women at high risk of advanced cancer might consider more frequent or supplemental imaging, whereas those at lower risk can avoid the additional testing. The BCSC also developed a 5-year invasive breast cancer risk prediction model that is commonly used in clinical practice to guide discussions about when to start screening and how often to screen. Our risk calculators are freely available on the BCSC's website as well as through iPhone and Android apps. The Breast Cancer Surveillance Consortium has been collecting data to evaluate breast cancer screening and surveillance since the mid-90s. It's the only breast imaging database in the nation that's linked to state cancer registries to ensure comprehensive capture of breast cancer outcomes. As new screening technologies enter clinical practice, the BCSC is uniquely positioned to rigorously evaluate their effectiveness in real-world settings. This invaluable resource has taken decades to build and has been recognized as a national treasure by leading figures in the scientific community. The BCSC is also a valuable data resource for other research groups. We work closely with CISNET, an NCI-funded group of modelers who use simulation modeling to predict and compare long-term outcomes of different screening strategies that aren't possible to evaluate with clinical trials.